Al Jazeera Podcasts.
As 2025 comes to a close, we're spending this week and next looking back at the stories that defined the year. Today, Tesla Takedown, how Elon Musk's alliance with U.S. President Donald Trump is triggering backlash. This episode first aired on March 21st, 2025. All dates and references are from that time.
Today, Tesla is in trouble.
Protesters have turned up at Tesla's showrooms. Some people have gone even further, smashing windows, setting vehicles and charging stations on fire in acts of politically inspired destruction.
How Elon Musk's big bet on politics is backfiring for his business. I'm Kevin Hirten, and this is The Take. Musk and Trump's alliance was on full display at the White House last week, with Teslas lined up on the South Lawn like it was a showroom. But that only added to the backlash around the world, fueling more movements like Tesla Takedown.
The organisers behind the Tesla Takedown protest say they want to stop Elon Musk using his vast wealth and social media influence to support the agenda of Donald Trump and far-right figures in the UK. They say
there are people now too shy to drive their Teslas.
Drivers are sporting bumper stickers that read, "I bought this before Elon went crazy." Some competitors like Kia are capitalizing. Their sticker says, "I bought this after Elon went crazy."
Tesla's stock has plunged more than 40% since January. And for Tesla Takedown activists, that's not just a win, it's personal.
Hi, my name is Jen Cousins, and I'm an activist and organizer in Orlando, Florida. But most importantly, I am the mom of 4 incredible children. 2 of my children are part of the LGBTQ+ community, so that's really where the heart of my activism lies. However, after the election, I decided to get involved in the Tesla Takedown movement. In my personal opinion, Elon Musk poses a far greater threat to our democracy than Trump does. Musk is the one who is not elected and going in and destroying all of our vital services. If he succeeds in destroying Social Security and Medicare, I have an elderly parent whom I cannot afford to support on top of our family of 6 should they lose that funding. He's destroying the Department of Education, which makes us fearful for my child who will be applying to colleges in the fall that he won't even be able to fill out his FAFSA to qualify for student aid. I believe in the power of the Tesla Takedown movement, and I believe that we are sending a very clear message to billionaires who want to meddle with our government that your actions will have consequences.
Elon Musk has called the violent attacks on Tesla evil.
They're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things.
My guest today has been reporting on Musk for years.
I'm Bobby Allyn, tech correspondent at NPR, and I live in Los Angeles.
Bobby, you cover Elon Musk for NPR, and he follows your coverage of him, and he's not always a fan. You did a 2-word interview with him at one point. Can you tell us about your email exchange with Elon Musk?
Yeah, sure. So when Musk bought Twitter, one of the first things he did was attach labels to a bunch of media organizations he didn't like. And these were labels that essentially said, this news organization is state-sponsored. It was a label that historically Twitter would use for sort of propaganda outlets in places like China and Russia, right? And he affixed one of these labels to NPR because he wasn't so happy with the network's coverage of him and the Twitter takeover. And I started emailing with him, and we had a long back and forth, and he was asking me lots of questions. This was an email exchange that went on for like 30 plus emails where he was asking me really detailed questions about NPR's board, where our money comes from, who makes editorial decisions. It was a very sort of strange conversation to have. And at one point he says, I noticed that NPR quit Twitter because top brass at the network decided that we were leaving the platform because it was just too chaotic of a site. And Elon goes, if NPR doesn't come back to Twitter, I'm going to sell at NPR to the highest bidder. And I saw that, and at first I was like, oh, that's weird. Huh. Okay. And I deleted the email and kind of went on with my day. And then another thought hit me. I was just like, wait, the richest man in the world is essentially blackmailing me. He's essentially saying if my employer doesn't rejoin his company, he's going to retaliate. I mean, that's a news story. So I talked to my editor about it, and I was like, yep, we're doing it. Did a story on exactly that. And then 2:19 in the morning, I was still up because I was very wired at this time, covering Elon around the clock. And Elon Musk sends me an email with the subject line, "You suck," and nothing in the body. And so among my colleagues, it's become something of a legendary email. One of my colleagues, I forwarded it to them, and they printed it out and they framed it for me. So I still have it by my desk. But yeah, the "you suck" email is one thing I'll never be able to live down.
Okay, so he says you suck. A lot of people feel exactly the same way about him these days. And as a result, we've seen this outpouring of opposition to his electric car company, Tesla. There have been peaceful protests, but others are attacking Tesla charging stations and showrooms. They're defacing cars. They're even setting cars on fire. You've been on this story, for a very long time. How did it come to this?
So Tesla is the most popular EV car seller in the US. And for a really long time, their core base were kind of eco-conscious consumers whose politics were probably more liberal than conservative, maybe some centrist libertarians in like the Bay Area, but wasn't really a hit among conservatives, right? And then there started to be a backlash. And it really first started when Elon took over Twitter and really unleashed onto the platform lots of right-wing discourse by bringing back people who had been permanently banned, by breaking down all of the content rules, by being this so-called free speech absolutist. And that's when we first started Tesla owners being like, is driving this thing around a tacit endorsement of what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter? And as his rightward shift started escalating, culminating really with Elon Musk endorsing President Trump on the campaign trail after the assassination attempt, and then pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the campaign. And now with his extremely influential role in the White House, Tesla vehicle has basically come to symbolize an endorsement of Elon Musk. So we're seeing many people defecting. We're seeing people selling their Tesla shares. We're seeing people wanting to get rid of their Tesla cars, slapping like Honda and Mazda stickers and decals over their Teslas, just as a way of saying like, hey, I have one of these things, but I don't agree with the billionaire tech mogul who runs this company. And it's having a significant effect. I think since January, Tesla's stock has plummeted 40%. I mean, Elon Musk himself has lost more than $120 billion of his wealth. And I will say it's not solely because of the backlash. There's a lot else going on with the company right now, including, new competition in China and a lot of other factors. But this backlash movement is certainly adding to Elon Musk and Tesla's headwinds right now.
Yeah. So it starts with Twitter. And now this stuff he's doing with the government, with Doge, is really getting under people's skin. I'm sure you've seen these videos at town halls where Elon Musk is the real main source of outrage for many people, not necessarily even Trump. So his personal brand is completely transforming as we speak, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is. And this alliance, this Trump-Elon alliance, is unlike anything we've ever seen before, right? Having this billionaire tech industrialist basically being a sort of like co-president of the United States, and the president himself using the South Lawn of the White House, as a infomercial for Tesla. But remember, as you say, the only reason why the White House lawn was used as a stage for basically selling Teslas is because of the beating that Tesla stock is taking right now. And because of the violence and the vandalism that we're seeing directed around the country against supercharging stations, against Tesla dealerships. Molotov cocktails have been thrown at Tesla dealerships. As you said, there's been fires. There's been a lot of violence nationwide. And Trump and, Attorney General Pam Bondi say this is going to be classified as an act of domestic terrorism.
Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them.
we catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company.
So it's really extraordinary how much the White House is going out of its way to both boost this private company that is owned by one of Trump's biggest political donors and also trying to protect the interests of this private company. It's just unlike like so much in the Trump White House. It's just completely uncharted territory.
Yeah. I mean, you're a tech reporter. Can we take a minute to just acknowledge this dramatic change of fortune? This is a man who was once talked about in the same breath as Thomas Edison. He was Person of the Year in Time magazine in 2021, not that long ago. Today, now that chorus has gotten much, much smaller as his politics, what he's doing with Doge, his support for right-wing groups around the world becomes front and center. People are calling Teslas swastikars. Are we already at a point where we can say Elon Musk was once Tesla's greatest asset and now he's its greatest liability?
Certainly some investors think so. You're hearing from investors who are feeling increasingly emboldened to speak out and say, hey, dude, you're a little distracted right now. Tesla is one of 6 private companies you're running, but it seems like you're pretty distracted by your 7th company, which is your role in the White House, right? I mean, right now, Elon is spinning a lot of plates, and it was just a matter of time before he dropped one of those plates. And with Tesla's stock cratering the way it is, with the violence and the vandalism against Tesla, nationwide, it really does look like he's weighing the company down. But he is, if nothing else, very stubborn. He is not someone to bow to pressure. Even if major investors of Tesla, call on him to step down or call on him as they are to pay attention more to Tesla, he's not likely to sort of buckle to pressure. But yeah, I think you have a point that he grew this company and it grew his wealth and he became the richest man in the world because of the success of Tesla. And now that is the very thing, Elon Musk's presence, that is weighing the company down.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, where is the board in all of this? I mean, being a CEO of Tesla should probably be a full-time job. Do shareholders have absolutely no recourse if the stock keeps falling?
I mean, the thing is with Elon Musk, he's always been pretty divided. His attention has always been quite divided, right? He gets bored very quickly. And look, he does have a sort of very special and some would say brilliant mind when it comes to risk-taking, when it comes to material sciences. He obviously is an entrepreneur who's very singular in what he can see that others can't and what he has accomplished. And we haven't seen any, real mass revolt on the board of Tesla. Of course, you're seeing that among grassroots activists and maybe some Tesla car owners are like, it would be great if when I drive to the grocery store, I don't get a bunch of dirty looks because it looks like I'm driving the Elon Musk vehicle around town. But besides that, there hasn't yet been a movement to oust him because even though he is a real liability for the stock, most major investors still say he has kind of this Midas touch. He has this magic touch and that maybe there's some bumps now, but in the long term, Elon Musk is the leader they want.
We'll have more with Bobby after a break. Let's talk about the stock. It's taken a massive hit, and Musk has lost billions in personal wealth. Tesla's now trading at around $230 a share. That's down from, over $400 at one point, but it's still really high. And especially when you compare it to other car makers. Ford Motor Company, for example, it trades at about $10 a share. So Tesla, I don't have to tell you this, but Tesla's always been kind of a story stock, right? A story of innovation, a story of Elon Musk, a story of the future. But now other car companies are catching up. And I heard an analyst say recently that a true valuation of Tesla is probably closer to $23 a share, not $230 a share, $23 a share. What would a $23 share price mean for Elon Musk's personal wealth?
I mean, yeah, it would decimate it. Elon's wealth has always been primarily located in his Tesla fortune. And I think, he assumed coming into the White House that having direct access to the federal government to maybe increase federal support for superchargers, to, sort of do other things, to use his federal position as leverage to help the company would only set the fortunes of the company soaring. But now he's seeing that is actually backfiring. So we'll see how far, how far this stock sell-off and this stock dip runs, but also I think more importantly, the brand. As you mentioned, the story of Tesla has been very compelling to a lot of consumers. And as one writer put it recently, I mean, he has detonated the Tesla brand, right? I mean, completely. So how do you come back from this?
So in response to the backlash, U.S. President Donald Trump is, we said he's hawking cars on the White House lawn. And he's calling violence against Tesla domestic terrorism. Does this approach by Trump surprise you? And do you think will actually work?
I mean, whether it works legally is a separate discussion, but I mean, if anything else, it's just sending a message from the highest levels of federal law enforcement to try to deter bad actors and vandals from committing further violence around the country against Tesla. Because again, Elon is the richest man in the world with bottomless wealth that can continue to pour into MAGA and MAGA adjacent political movements to keep the MAGA movement going. Another important facet here is, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, when there's backlash to say shutting down the entire Department of Education or shutting down USAID, basically knocking it down to its studs. When there's backlash to that, Trump can say, hey, that was Elon. Maybe Elon went a little too far. He can be this fall man, right?
He can shield.
He can shield some of the blowback that Trump would otherwise get. So it's like extremely convenient. And this ties directly into what we're seeing from the Attorney General and the President, which is to preserve and protect and to be on the offensive to defend Tesla, a private car company, right? Because right. I think Trump and the Trump administration sees keeping Elon happy and going out of its way to defend and to preserve Tesla as a way of keeping Elon in their orbit. Both Elon and the White House, I think, see him as there's something of a symbiotic relationship, but surely it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, and he's also pumping millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into these super PACs. So he's become kind of the bank for MAGA. So they're really invested in making sure that he's liquid and can keep sending those checks and getting people reelected.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, when he became, the most important financial backer during the campaign, many were wondering, is this big check gonna pay off? I mean, this is a lot of money to pump into a presidential candidate. And some thought maybe there'll be some kind of federal program that boosts Tesla, or maybe there'll be another contract for SpaceX. People were expecting some kind of favoritism, or that something that would look like favoritism around the margins. Nobody thought Elon Musk would be playing this incredibly central role in the White House and someone who'd be steering the forefront of federal policy. I mean, it's really breathtaking.
Okay, Bobby, I think a lot of people are feeling powerless at this moment, especially we've seen protests and activists being prosecuted under the Trump administration. But then you look at these economic boycotts, like this Tesla takedown movement. It's actually having an effect. The stock is down. I wonder, looking ahead, could other companies soon be in the crosshairs? Do you think that boycotts and buying power could become this moment's preferred form of civil disobedience?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, I do think the Tesla takedown movement has gotten Elon's attention, given how much he is targeting and smearing some of the local organizers. And I think some of the national leaders of Tesla takedown are pointing to it as an example of a truly bottom-up grassroots movement, not just grabbing Elon Musk's attention, but like you said, having a material impact on Elon Musk's bottom line. I mean, that's what activists are hoping to do, to hit him where it hurts, to create some kind of national movement that will both, defund Tesla and also send the message that regular Americans do not stand for the devastating cuts to services and programs and the dismantling of agencies that DOGE is overseeing. I mean, you can go onto social media, X, Blue Sky, Mastodon, you name it, and complain about DOGE all day. You can write letters to your Congress people. But I think taking to the streets and being part of a national movement might be a more effective way to get your message out, because at least in the case of Tesla takedown, we're actually seeing some results.
Bobby Allyn, thank you for coming on The Take today.
Thanks for having me.
And that's The Take. What's your take on Elon Musk and the backlash against Tesla? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And we're always listening to what you think of the show. So let us know what kind of episodes you'd like to hear more of and what you thought of this one. And if you want to catch more episodes like this, make sure you're following our YouTube playlist, which is here. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so you stay in the loop with all things Al Jazeera English. We'll be back.